go. All right, back to the Eyebutts Q&A. Now this is going to be a redo because my mic was not working. So I had some time to think about the questions, but I'm going to have my students ask anyway. So take it away, question number one.
Were the Eyebutts inspired by anyone's work or just someone in general?
Great. So I had some time to think about that. And
Mhm.
yes, there's many inspirations for these characters. Among them are artistic historical inspirations. And I want to go ahead and highlight some of them for you. And the first one is Norman Rockwell, who's actually my favorite artist. As you can see in the background, he does a lot of figures, tells a lot of stories. Here's a little close up of that particular artist right here. And this is a very typical type of painting by the artist Norman Rockwell, where he told a lot of stories with a message typically, and they were usually kind of funny. All right, very famous artist. Most of my high school students have not heard of the name, but he was very famous, and he was also born on the same day as I was, same different year, of course, so not as old. Another inspiration was this artist named Salvador Dali. So, and here's a quick scan of his work. He does a lot of weird looking paintings. And here's one in particular that I want to highlight. And you'll probably notice the influence of the Eyebutts, very exaggerated and distorted looking characters that he created. And they were very realistically painted as well, like my style. All right. So the other artist that heavily inspired me was a guy named Gary Larson that I'm sure a lot of you have not heard of as well. But this is him right here. If you get a chance to look at Gary Larson's artwork, he was really popular in the 80s and 90s. All right, and he did these very humorous cartoons that were kind of intellectual, kind of I don't know, sophisticated, I guess. And at the same time, they were really quirky and humorous. Here's a highlight of one of them. So this is a cartoon of Gary Larson depicting Bob Ross, who is actually very well known by my high school students. And here you have Bob Ross on TV, and he's commenting on this. Well, you got to paint the happy little tree, and then all of a sudden, this big trunk falls through the roof and falls on the lady that's trying to paint the tree. And he does those kind of those humorous paintings. And Gary Larson was a big influence on the initial creation of the Eyebutts.